Yo, I'm Nathaniel Oftana. I played going second Orcust at the SAC Regional just a few days ago, November 2nd, and I got 15th place. Nearly made top 8, but I fumbled my way in the final round. But, you know, that's fine. We all make mistakes. 1 wand, 2 nightmares, 3 harps, symbol, and the honorary Orcust Gizmek Orochi. I like this ratio. Honestly, I do want to test a 3rd nightmare in this build, but if I do that, I also want to up the count of the draw spell, which I only play 2 of. But beyond that, I'm pretty happy with this ratio. Worked out very well for me at the event, especially in the context of going second. After that, or the hand traps that are actually monsters. 3 Phantasmes, so rest in peace budget, but 3 Phantasmes, 3 Ash. Phantasme, you know, what can be said about it? It's very good in this meta because there's links running everywhere, and Ash just hits everything. After that are starters and, in certain cases, extenders. First, we have Cyber Dragon Ashter. If you have an Orcust in hand and a Ash your normal summon, this makes the Orcust combo. And since you're going second, it also means you can break apart certain board states, such as set 3 pass with the Sunlight Wolf against Salamangreat. If you have no real normal summons, or if you can afford to go past your usual normal summon, you could just set this. Hope they don't realize, oh wait, that's a Cyber Dragon, and they don't destroy it, and then contact fuse. But even if they do destroy it, that's fine because they were forced to use their rage on a set card, so that's still an even 1-for-1 trade. And then for the normal summons, which get you started, 3 Mathematicians and a Warrior Engine of Knight, for reinforcement of the army. Mismatched Mathematician, by the way. Mathematician, I find myself preferring over Scrap Recycler because one, there can be only one. This helps you play around that a lot better, because then if you Scrap Recycler a Harp or banish a Harp, or there can only be one, you're left with just scrap on the field. If you Scrap Recycle, if you Mathematicians and Harp, and then there can only be one, you're left with 2 bodies on the field, and from there you can link up higher and higher to either out the one there can only be one, or just keep grinding. And if they Ash your normal summon, this is the best one to leave on board, because if they beat over it, you get a free draw, and for some reason that's really good. Warrior Engine's Warrior Engine. After that comes the spell cards. That's aside. First we have the reason why you go second, the board breakers. The best one of them, Super Poly. I understand why it's at 3. I feel like it shouldn't be at 3, but it's a necessary evil in this day and age. And 3 Cosmic Cyclone. The build I'm basing this off of Khan's list from YCS London, the one I got 3rd. Opted for 3 twins in the main, but I feel like Cosmic is better in more matchups compared to, say, Twin, because Orcust is, if not the best deck, the meta deck that's running around the most. And, you know, Dengoshu says, what is Spell Trap Destruction? So you just bypass that with Cosmic Cyclone. And I also think it's better versus Salamangreat, because if they roar your Twin Twister and they have it called by in the grave, or whatever Orcust you discarded, that kind of sucks. And then my favorite card, Mind Control. I need an Ultra. It's very good. Good 1-for-1 trade against Salamangreats, against Orcust and whatnot, because for some reason everyone's Solemn Judgment requires you to control a card. Control a specific monster, so that's pretty nice. And then we got Foolish Burial, can't wait for Lost Art. And then the Orcust spells, 2 returns, 1 Babble. Like I said, I want to test 3 returns in here with an increased nightmare count. But otherwise, it's very good. After that, we're on our traps. 3 infinite impermanents. It's the best hand trap that isn't an actual monster and is an actual trap because they can't call by it, and it's a little harder to play around. Also gets onto the Lunar Light Orcust shicks. And then 1 crescendo. I might test 2, but 1's been working out for me. After that, it's the extra. Standard Orcust extra, 2 dings, 3 Galatea, 1 Mongursu. I need to get ultis, but you know, standard number. 2 dings, because sometimes it'll get called by or something along those lines, and you still need it for grind and whatnot. 1 Mongursu, because you don't really go into it too often, but when you do, it's pretty good. And 3 Galatea, because it gets going. Utility links. 1 IP for your new end board. 1 Phoenix and 1 Unicorn for removal. And 1 Boral Sword to close out games. I really like IP. She's... because we're still early in the format, and people still don't really realize what she does. She's not just formula synchron for like a unicorn or a phoenix on your opponent's turn. She's also gives them protection. So round 7 against my Sky Striker opponent, game 1, he attempted to afterburners my unicorn to get rid of my Babble or one of my sets, and I said, oh, okay, it stays. And he's like, what? And I just pulled my IP out of the grave, and he's like, oh, that's a good card. Phoenix and Unicorn because they're the most generic and most needed removal, and Boral Sword because it closes games. Honestly though, I've only ever summoned this against 1 matchup where it didn't get super polyed. It's making me consider cut it, but I don't think I should because, like I said, it still closes games in the right situation. I feel like I just need to play grindier. But anyways, now we're on to the fusions because of the Super Poly and the Nashter. 1 Drago, 1 Starving Venom, 1 Violet Chimera. This hits Orcust, this hits Orcust and Thunder, this hits Salamangreat. I'm considering replacing this with Diplexer Chimera because in this day and age, Salamangreats are playing around this a little more. We're playing around Super Poly a little more. And Diplexer Chimera is a little more generic because you only need 2 Cybers instead of a Salamangreat and a Link monster. But you know, it worked out well for me this weekend. And the final 2 cards in my extra, the Cyber Dragon Nashter targets, Fortress and Mega Fleet. I don't think I've ever summoned Fortress, but I've summoned Mega Fleet numerous times. It's a really good card, really big beat stick. When you're in simplified game states, it really puts in work because, you know, it's huge. Fortress Dragon, in theory, just absolutely tears apart Orcust in the mirror. But I've never had that situation come up to me where I have a Nashter in hand and I can do it. Usually I either Super Poly the board away before that point, but you know, it's good to have it. Finally, the side, we have 3 Pankratops. It's not good in the main this meta because there's a lot of protection going around in the form of Colossus and Orcust, Dingirshu, because, you know, but it's still really good against Salamangreat and Rogue decks. It is quote unquote good against Striker, but if they have the what do you call it, the Shark Cannon, and you have this engrave that's not a fun time, so I don't usually side that in against them, but you know, still keep it in your sight. 3 Artifact Lancia. It's a turn skip for Orcust in the mirror and against Infernoids, and like I said, Infernoids is really scary, so you want as many good cards against them as possible. It's also good against Thunder when they have Aloof in their opening. Rounding out the monsters for my side are 3 Diggy Crows. Generically good hand trap this format. You replace cards. I usually use this to replace like Super Poly after the opponent sees it or if it's not applicable in the matchup. And I'm also considering testing this in the main, just like swapping out a few cards here and there. Still really good, and at worst, it's a dark target for a Greffer if it's like dead in your hand, which I did do against Infernoids, funnily enough. 3 twins, just good against backrow decks in general. And a discard outlet for Orcust, and then 3 Evenlies. Evenly matched is a big blowout in this format because, you know, everyone isn't playing around it, or they're committing so much to the board, and even if they have to negate, well, if they have to negate, you try to bait that out first, but still, it's really good. And that'll be it for my deck profile.
In the 9 rounds of 415 people at the Sacramento Regional, I won against Sky Striker twice, and I did much better than I thought I would. My second time playing Sky Strikers, round 8, in game 2 I did a lot of crashing my mathematicians into Hayates, and eventually he ran out of links attack into, so that was pretty fun. Decks I had a real hard time against, round 6 against Infernoids. That deck scares me so much. Everything is a DD Crow, and your graveyard is... You might as well have a Macrocosmos up on the field if you're going up against Infernoid. But beyond that, I was pretty happy with my performance. Oh, another deck I had a hard time against, the Mirror. I need to practice the Mirror more because those were my only losses. So yes, that does mean I won against the Infernoid, but that was only because of time, and if it wasn't time, I'm pretty sure I would have lost. But anyway, I'm pretty proud of my performance. Next time, I'm getting that top 8 and that fancy playmat.